G'day and hello there everyone, it is Milmo here, back for the final part of this prepping for a level up. This is the third and final one, and this is talking about number 3 there, banking your food. And essentially this is just talking about what it says there, getting as much food storage as you can and getting as much food available for when you're going for these level ups. Now previously I talked about using your training grounds and using those specialty high-end trainings like your elite, also your legendary and your special training, essentially to get those large numbers of food and also survivors available. But some of the other ways to get some of this food is in your inventory. Now in your inventory you have a lot of stuff like this. Firstly, I will mention that you need, one of the things when I was talking about the training grounds and talking about getting a whole heap of players in there and thousands of them, is you're going to need thousands and thousands of wrinkled shirts and work shirts to actually pack in those training grounds and also essentially train them characters. The only way you're going to be able to train them characters is with the wrinkled shirts and work gloves, and you're going to need a lot of them, so you've got a lot of options with how many players you can train when you prep them, but also during the level up. So you're going to need a lot of them. As you can see there, I've got a couple thousand. If you can have more than that, a couple thousand is pretty good if you've already got a couple thousand in your training ground, so then you just be able to add on more and things like that. So definitely got to make sure you're stocked up on your wrinkled shirts and work gloves for the purpose of that training ground and getting those characters. But like I said, with the inventory here, you've essentially got all these great things you can sell. You do want to farm a whole lot. I will talk about farming a bit later on and how to obtain, I guess, more of these items and more of this gear to sell off. But essentially, as you see here, you just want a whole lot of it. You sell all your 2-star stuff and all that sort of things because you're not really using them for much. Like I said, this is why it's important to have all your characters ready and already tiered up. So if you have your characters ready and already tiered up, then you can probably sell more of your high-end stuff if you game enough. If you game enough, sell some of your high-end stuff, because you know what, they give you a whole lot of food compared to everything else. As you can see here, 70k for a night vision goggles, 4-star rarity there, another one's briefcase. So if you already have your characters leveled up, if worse comes to worse and you start running out of food in your other options, then you can start selling the high-end stuff, because you're not going to really need it to tier up any players, because you've done all your tiering before the level up. And that's why it's important to tier your players and have them ready before the level up and not do it during the level up. But as you can see, you know, compasses, hiking boots, anything like that, your ammo belts, anything like that, that's this 3-star, but it's easily attained on farming or other stages, then by all means sell them and you'll get some solid amount of food. Same with your waste packs and all this 2-star stuff. It's easily attained when you're farming and things like that off stages, so more than happy to throw them into the I guess the food bank and sell them off. Like I said, if you game enough, you can sell your high-end stuff, but it's honestly going to be your own. It's going to be up to you whether you want to sell that high-end stuff. But I guess that just brings in the importance why it's great to have your characters all ready and roaring to go, rather than tearing them up during the level up, and then leaves you more options with selling these higher grade stuffs. But here we go once again. Your battle items, these are things that you get from daily missions and things like that, are also rewards on certain things. You can craft these, which I will talk about a bit later on. But your high replenishes, your deluxe replenishes, your lemon juice, your first aid kits, things like this, first aid cases, sorry, not the kits. The kits are worth next to nothing. The first aid cases are worth something in foods. You can get a whole lot of food for these guys, as you can see here. Storing those, having a whole heap of them, is going to give you a nice little chunk of food when it comes to leveling up. Like I said, you can craft these things, but I will talk about that a bit later, and it's a bit risky because you do lose 50%. But if you're looking just to have a whole mass of food then, and you're willing to lose that 50% later on, then by all means craft them. But as you can see, having a good supply of these guys is going to get you a nice solid amount of food and going to give you a nice big storage bank for when you're leveling up. Those big chewing 5-star characters, they munch through all the food. Now with items, when you have your armory items, they give you nothing but wood, so don't worry about your armory items, craft them or anything like that. They only give you wood, so no point even trying to sell them, they're not food. 1-star stuff, don't even worry about it. Look at the amount you're getting for these guys, the 1-star stuff, it's not worth selling. 2-star stuff, that's when it starts to get a bit better. So with these chocolate protein and all these other things, they actually, I guess, are worthy. If you sell a good chunk of them, you can get a nice chunk of food from them. So definitely 2-star or above when it comes to items in selling them. The 1-star stuff, you got to sell a whole heap, and it's just not really worth. It's worth next to nothing. So unless you're really desperate for food, I don't see the point of actually selling your 1-star stuff or even stocking up on the 1-star stuff, which I think it just generally happens. You stock up on it. But as you can see, if you can have a chemical sets, they're worth a good amount. Booster powder, that's worth a good amount. If you keep going past that failed attempt at Dirty Santa's hat, still don't know what they were doing with that. Your metalworking sets, they're worth a good amount. Your raw lemons, they're worth a good amount. So anything like this, if you can get a whole heap of refined powder, you keep going down the 4-star stuff, these guys are worth a good amount of food. So if you can have a lot of them and have a good chunk of items in there, then you're able to get a good, nice amount of food, sell them off for a good amount of food when you're doing these level ups. So like I said, gear, great to sell off. Battle items, great to also sell off, and so are items. So there's 3 options there in your inventory that's going to allow you to stock up your food just by general farming and things like that. So you're going to be able to have a good amount of food to also go with the amount of food you're using or stocking up in your training grounds by using those high-end trainings with the special, the elite, and the legendary. So there's 2 ways of getting foods. If we move on, we're going to talk a bit now. I was talking about farming. Generally, when it comes to farming, before or during the level up, I recommend farming only the first half of the map. Don't go to the second half. It's just a bit too rich in regards to refills and what you're getting. When in a level up tournament, you're looking for survivors, but also cost effective in regards to your refills and the things you're getting, the items you're getting. So the first half of the map is great for that. Stage 7, as you can see here, pretty low world energy cost, and is actually great. It is one of the better stages for your wrinkled shirts and also your work gloves, which, like I said, you're going to need to be stocked up on when it comes to adding to those training grounds. It also gives you some nice items, like I said, low cost. Move on to 13. It again is fairly low in the energy refill and also gives you a good amount of items, especially 3-star items like compasses, leather gloves, ammo belts, anything like that. It gives you a lot of them, which sells pretty nice and high in the food. 15 is the same. It gives you a lot of the 3-star stuff. Same with 14. And they're fairly low and cost effective in regards to your refills. 12 is the same. I get a lot of compasses and work boots off that. So those stages, like I said, the first half of the map is probably the best for energy and the gear you're getting. So it's most cost effective in regards to your energy and the gear you're getting. It's definitely the better. I would recommend during the level up probably only farming the first half. Now moving on from actual farming, we'll go on to crafting. Now I was talking about this is essentially you can craft your high replenishers, your deluxe replenishers, your lemons juices, your first aid kits, all these things that get you high-end bargains and I guess high-end food when it comes to selling them. What you do have to be wary of, and what I think I've emphasized throughout the videos, is you lose 50%. So essentially, whatever you pay to craft them, how much ever food it costs you to craft them, you will lose about 50% of that food when you go to sell them off. So you just got to be wary of that. As you can see here, black coffee costs you about 16.6. You'll lose about 50% of that, and it will go on for the rest of them too. So just be wary of that. If you're willing to lose 50%, in the long run just to have a whole heap packed on and have a whole heap of food available, then by all means craft a shitload of them. By all means do it if you're willing to lose that 50%. As you can see here, 33.9, so you'll lose about 50 there, 50% of that value. So by all means, if you're willing to do it, just do it. It probably isn't that bad. It isn't that bad if you think about it and you're really wanting to do a level up. It isn't that bad losing 50%, but you just got to be aware that you will lose 50% of what you actually pay to craft them. Whereas when you do things like legendary training and also you're farming for items and things like that, you're not actually losing anything. You're not actually losing any of your food or putting anything in to lose. So that is definitely the better area to be focused on when it comes to banking your food. So, it's one of those things. Just quickly, I did want to mention scavenger missions. Scavenger missions are a great way to get extra level up points, being that you have the 60k ones and also the 100k XP ones. So they are a great little source to actually add onto your already existing score and things like that. So if you do have some in there and you know a level up tournament's coming, hold until it's there or use them wisely when it is there. But I hope you did enjoy that little level up prep series, and as always, thank you for watching. Bye.